You ever watch a show finale and feel like you just got kicked out of the theater halfway through the movie? Like the lights come on, everyone's clapping, and you're still sitting there going, "Wait, we're done." That's exactly what Star Wars Rebels did to me. They handed us this epic last act, with Ezra pulling the most insane Jedi move since Luke yeeted himself off Cloud City. And then, credits. Like, thanks guys. I'll just sit here forever, wondering where the blue guy and the space wizard child ended up. And the thing is, Rebels wasn't some throwaway Saturday morning cartoon. This was a show that gave us one of the best Star Wars villains in history. A villain so good he could outthink Vader. And they just chucked him into the unknown regions like a sock behind the dryer. Thrawn deserved at least another season just to let us watch him play for D chess with the entire galaxy. Instead, we got poof, mystery, and the faint sound of Filoni giggling somewhere. Meanwhile, Ahsoka walks in like some mythic wandering knight, cloaked and silent, ready to go on a quest. And then she just leaves. That's it. No roadmap. No, I'll text you when I find Ezra. Nothing. Sabine's standing there like she's about to deliver the trailer for Season 5. Except there is no Season 5. And as a fan, you're stuck piecing together this jigsaw puzzle where half the pieces got thrown into hyperspace. And don't even get me started on the emotional fallout we missed. Kanan's sacrifice. The grief that should have rippled through the crew. Hera trying to hold it together while leading the rebellion. Zeb reconnecting with his people. That's all prime storytelling real estate, just sitting there empty. Instead of watching these characters grow through loss, we time jumped like someone hit the skip intro button on life. But here's the kicker. Even with all that, Rebels still managed to be one of the most ambitious, heartfelt, and straight-up cool Star Wars projects we've ever had. It dared to mess with the Force in ways we'd never seen. It blended action, humor, and emotion without tripping over itself. And it gave us moments that hit harder than some live-action films with 10 times the budget. Which makes the fact that it ended early sting even more. In this video, we're going to dive into exactly why Star Wars Rebels needed more seasons, the huge plot threads left dangling in space, and the legendary moments that could have been if the story had been given the time it deserved. We're talking Ezra's fate, Thrawn's brilliance, Ahsoka's journey, and all the untold stories that still haunt fans to this day. So buckle up, because by the end of this, you might be more frustrated than when you found out Boba Fett survived just to hang out in a bath for 2 episodes. There's this moment in the Rebels finale where you're left thinking, wait, that's it, we just stop here. We get Ezra pulling one of the boldest moves in Star Wars history, disappearing into hyperspace with Thrawn. And then the credits roll, like we just wrapped up a random filler episode. The show practically begged us to ask 1,000 questions, and Lucasfilm just walked away. We were introduced to concepts that no other Star Wars project had dared to touch at the time. The world between worlds. The exact moment where timelines, choices, and destinies could be rewritten. And we barely scratched the surface. Imagine a whole season exploring Jedi who knew how to navigate it. Or Sith trying to corrupt it. Instead, we got 1 episode, and a promise we'd never see it again. And what about Ahsoka? She walks away from that time portal like she just stepped into a brand new quest. The kind of thing you'd expect to see unfold across multiple arcs. But Rebels just skips ahead, years later, showing her in new armor. With no explanation, it's like finding a sequel to your favorite book and realizing half the pages are missing. Then there's Sabine, standing in front of the mural, narrating the fate of her crew like she's doing a recap for a show we never got. Ahsoka appears, they head off to find Ezra, and the music swells, and boom, nothing. No journey, no challenges, no resolution. Just a door left wide open. It's the mystery that makes it stick in your mind. Rebels left behind this trail of story crumbs, daring us to imagine the missing chapters. And it's almost more frustrating because the setup was so perfectly done. You know what's maddening? Rebels had the momentum to keep going. The ratings weren't bad. The fan base was loyal. And yet Disney decided 4 seasons was enough. Like, was there a rush to clear the schedule for more sequel trilogy tie-ins? Because that worked out great. We finally had an animated series that wasn't afraid to weave deep into the Star Wars mythos. Clone Wars callbacks, Rogue One connections, even teasers for the original trilogy. And they just stopped. It's like building the Millennium Falcon, but deciding the hyperdrive is optional. And don't get me started on Thrawn. We waited literal decades for this character to be canonized. They gave us an amazing, calculating villain, and then poof, gone in a blue-skinned magic trick. You can't introduce one of the greatest tactical minds in the galaxy, and then just have him vanish off-screen. That's not a payoff. That's a setup without a punchline. There's a sadness to Rebels ending the way it did, because we didn't just lose a show. We lost a window into a part of Star Wars that doesn't get enough attention. The small-scale battles, the personal sacrifices, the lives of people who don't make it into the history books. Kanan's journey had just come to a close. His loss left the crew broken, and the moments after should have been about watching them heal. Instead, we fast forward past all that grief. We never see how Hera coped, how Ezra processed it, or how Sabine carried the weight of it all. That silence hurts more than any big death scene. And then there's Zeb, one of the last of his kind, who finally finds his people again. That's a story worthy of its own season. Watching him rebuild what was lost, struggling with the idea of leaving his found family behind. It's a bittersweet, emotional arc we never got to feel. Even smaller moments, like Chopper's loyalty to Hera, or the quiet bonds between crew members, vanish when the story jumps forward. These characters were family, and we didn't get to say goodbye to them properly. It's like having a friend move away overnight. You wake up, they're gone, and you never got to have that last conversation. Rebels left us holding on to the echoes of moments we'll never see. And yet, for the time it had, Rebels did things no other Star Wars series dared to attempt. It gave us the world between worlds, and with it, the mind-bending realization that Star Wars time travel is possible, but terrifying. It brought Ahsoka back from the brink of death, and changed how we saw her forever. The way it expanded the Force, showing wolves as guardians, temples as gateways, and visions that actually influenced the present, was nothing short of groundbreaking. These weren't cheap gimmicks, they were myth-building moments that added layers to the saga. The visuals still hold up too. Twilight of the Apprentice is one of the most haunting duels in Star Wars history. Maul versus Ahsoka. Vader's mask cracked, his voice shifting between Anakin and the monster he became. Those are scenes burned into Star Wars legend. And the character work. Watching Ezra slowly grow from a cocky street rat to a selfless hero. Sabine evolve from rebel with a paintbrush to warrior ready to take back Mandalore. Hera proving you can lead with both heart and discipline. These arcs felt alive. That's why it's so remarkable. Rebels might not have been given the years it needed, but the years it got were filled with some of the most ambitious, daring storytelling Star Wars has ever seen. And maybe that's why fans haven't given up, because those seeds Rebels planted are still out there, waiting to grow. We know Ahsoka's journey is continuing in live action. Sabine's search for Ezra is finally being told, and Thrawn is returning in a big way. The best part about Star Wars is that stories never truly die. They resurface, sometimes in unexpected forms. Clone Wars got its lost season years later, and there's nothing stopping Rebels from getting the same treatment. Maybe as a movie, maybe as a final season. Even the actors have said they'd come back. Dave Filoni clearly still cares about these characters, and with the current timeline of shows, there's plenty of room to pick up where Rebels left off. The threads are all there, just waiting to be woven together. Fans are still talking about it, still making theories, still holding out hope. Kind of lasting passion doesn't happen for just any series. Rebels mattered, and it still does. So yeah, the door might have closed in 2018, but it wasn't locked. Star Wars has a way of circling back, and maybe one day we'll step through that door again. But here's the hard truth. Even if we do get more Rebels someday, it won't be the same. That original magic, the chemistry of that cast, the surprise of discovering new corners of the galaxy for the first time, that's something you can't fully recreate. The tragedy is that Rebels had all the right pieces, and still didn't get the time it needed to complete the puzzle. The ending wasn't a failure, it was an unfinished masterpiece, which somehow makes it hurt more. We'll always wonder what could have been, a fifth season diving deep into the unknown regions. A reunion with Ezra that meant more than a quick cameo. A chance to watch our heroes grow into legends instead of reading about it in a recap. But maybe that's the lesson Rebels leaves us with. In Star Wars, not every story is neatly tied up. Sometimes the unanswered questions are what keep the galaxy alive in our minds. And so Rebels becomes something rarer than a complete tale. It's a story frozen in motion, a bittersweet reminder that even in a galaxy far, far away, time can run out before you're ready. Thank you for watching. If you enjoy my videos, please consider looking at my pinned comment and checking out the links for my Amazon storefront. It contains my favorite Legos, my gear in which I make videos, and comics that I read on a daily basis. I update it constantly, so please, take a moment and click on the link. On top of that, check out my second channel, Critical Analysis Hub Plus, and my third channel, Critical Analysis Hub XP. Just one click would go on a long way in supporting my channels and future in YouTube.